Have you ever gone to a hardware store and met that one guy behind the counter? Let's call him Chandler. Chandler is amazing. You ask him about a drill and he recites the manual from memory. You ask about paint and he knows every chemical ingredient. He's eager, he works at lightning speed, and he really wants to impress you with how much he knows. But here's the problem with Chandler. He has never actually built a house. He has all the book smarts, but none of the street smarts. So if you follow blindly what Chandler has to say, you might end up buying a tool that doesn't exist or build a deck that collapses on you next Tuesday. And this is what it's like to work with artificial intelligence. Hi, I'm Chantal and welcome to AI for 50 Plus, born before Wi-Fi, owning AI. Today we're going to look at 4 things that AI or Chandler does better than any human, and also 5 traps where it acts like a know-it-all and can lead you straight to disaster. So why do we keep going back to Chandler? Because when you're starting a project, he can be the most useful assistant you've ever had. He saves you the heavy lifting. Let's look at the 4 things where he's really good at, starting with brainstorming. Imagine you walk up to the counter and say, Chandler, I want to fix up my backyard, but I'm stuck. I have no ideas. A normal human might give you 1 or 2 ideas, but Chandler wants to show off. He instantly rattles off 20 ideas. You could build a gazebo, a fire pit, a koi pond, a Zen garden. He doesn't get tired. He doesn't get writer's block. This is AI's first superpower. It's an idea machine. If you're stuck staring at a blank page, simply ask AI, what are 5 ideas for a birthday card? Or 3 low-carb menus? Or 10 title ideas for a newsletter? It gets the ball rolling. Okay, you picked an idea. Now, the second thing they're really good at is research. You want to build the Zen garden, but you hate reading the instruction manuals. You hand Chandler a 50-page manual on water pumps and say, Chandler, read this. In a blink, he says, done. You say, great, just give me the 3 bullet points I need to know. AI is the ultimate summarizer. It can read long, boring PDF documents, legal contracts, or complex articles in seconds. It reads the fine print so you don't have to. Superpower number 3, drafting. Now you need a plan. You ask, Chandler, draw me a quick sketch of this garden. Before you can finish your sentence, he grabs a random piece of paper and draws the whole thing. Is it perfect? No. Is it a masterpiece? No. But it's a first draft, and that cures the blank page syndrome. Use AI to write the first draft of that difficult email, that letter to the airline company, or for that speech for your son's wedding. It gives you something to edit, which is always much easier than starting from scratch. And finally, the 4th superpower, explaining. Chandler points to a complicated tool and uses a word like hydrostatic pressure. You have no idea what that means. You say, Chandler, explain that to me like I'm a 10-year-old. And he does. He drops the fancy talk and uses plain English. AI is a universal translator, not just for language, but also for complexity. So if you have a medical report you don't understand or a tech message that appears on your computer, simply paste it into ChatGPT or Gemini and ask, explain this simply. So at this point, Chandler sounds like the perfect assistant, right? He's fast, full of ideas, and he reads the manual for you. But remember what I said at the beginning. Chandler has never built a house. He's eager, but he lacks experience. And because he wants to impress you, he can become very dangerous. Here are the 5 flags you need to watch out for. First one, reliability. The biggest problem with Chandler is that he is mostly right. Maybe 90% of the time he's a genius, but that other 10%, he might recommend a screw that is slightly too small. If you build your deck with his advice and don't check his work, the whole thing could collapse. AI works in probabilities, meaning it's guessing the next best word. It's not a calculator. It doesn't deal with facts. It's predicting patterns, which means you can never ever leave it on autopilot. You must always check its work. The second flag, hallucinations. This is my favorite one. Remember, Chandler wants to impress you. He hates saying, I don't know. So if you walk in and ask for a left-handed screwdriver made of glass, Chandler won't say, that doesn't exist. He'll say, oh, absolutely, it's in aisle 4. He hallucinates the product because he wants to be helpful. In the AI world, we call that hallucination. It will invent court cases that never happened, quotes that nobody said, and facts that are totally wrong. And it will do so with total confidence. It lies because it prioritizes pleasing you instead of telling the truth. The third flag is judgment or lack thereof. Let's say you ask Chandler, what's the best way to hang this picture? Chandler has read every manual, so he gives you the average answer. Use a heavy-duty anchor. But he doesn't have the judgment to see that you are trying to hang a tiny postcard on a concrete wall. He suggests a $500 industrial drill for a job that needs a piece of tape. AI doesn't have wisdom or judgment. It gives you the average of the internet. It doesn't understand nuances or high-stakes situations. It can give you information, but it cannot tailor it to the reality of your life. The fourth flag is memory. Imagine you spend an hour with Chandler planning your garden. You go out for lunch and come back an hour later. You walk up to the counter and say, okay, Chandler, let's buy that wood we talked about. And Chandler looks at you blankly and says, who are you again? Frustrating, right? Unless you stay in the same specific chat window, and even then, AI has the memory of a goldfish. It doesn't remember what you told it yesterday or last week. You constantly have to remind it of the project details. Finally, fifth flag, the context. Chandler doesn't know you. He suggests you buy 50 bags of heavy concrete mix. It's a great suggestion for the project, but he doesn't know you have a bad back and physically can't lift them. He doesn't know your budget is tight. He lacks the unwritten rules of your life. This is context blindness. AI doesn't know your implicit knowledge, the stuff you don't say out loud. So if you don't explicitly tell it that you have a bad back, you will get bad advice. So should we fire Chandler? Absolutely not. Think about the time he saved us with the brainstorming, the research, the drafting, and the explaining. He did the heavy lifting, so we didn't have to. But don't trust AI 100% because it's unreliable, it hallucinates, it has no judgment, no memory, and often lacks context. Use Chandler for what it's good at, but don't let it build your house without supervision. Thank you for watching, and watch these videos for better uses of ChatGPT. See you next week.